When I checked my smartphone, there were 13 missed calls, all from my mother-in-law. Not again, I thought to myself, just as my phone vibrated with another call. Hello? My mother-in-law, Monica, responded with a shout.
Hey, have you sent this month's $2,200 yet?
Excuse me?
I said the money. You haven't transferred this month's money yet.
She yelled, furious. She didn't care a thing about my situation and openly expressing her own desires. I was at my limit with her. You don't feel bad about your own actions even in a situation like this, do you? I had to resort to my last option. I resolutely told her through the phone, "Your son has passed away, so I can't send you money anymore. My name is Ashley. I'm 32 years old, and I work for a major financial company while managing household duties. I got married about 2 years ago. I met my loving husband, Mason, through a shared hobby. I was immediately attracted to his kind nature and radiant smile, and it seemed he felt the same way. After a year of dating, we quickly got engaged. We probably both felt that we wouldn't meet anyone better. We lived together while dating without any major fights, so we decided to get married. Everything was going smoothly for us until one problem arose. My mother-in-law, Monica. Her husband had passed away a few years ago, and Mason didn't have any siblings, so his only family was his mother. The issues started when I first visited her home to introduce myself before marriage. "Nice to meet you," I said. Then she responded with an apparent displeased look.
You're Mason's fiancé?
"Yes, my name is Ashley."
Huh. You're not exactly impressive. I wonder what my son sees in you.
I couldn't tell if she was joking or serious, and I was quite shocked to be addressed so by the mother of the man I love. Seeing my surprise, Mason criticized her. "Mom, why would you say such a thing? How can you casually say that to the woman I brought home?"
It's not like that, Mason. I just want to choose a suitable woman for you.
Choose? I'm the one who chose Ashley, and I don't need you to meddle.
Don't be so cold. I'm just thinking about you, Mason.
If you really care about me, then support us unconditionally. Why can't you understand such a simple thing? A tense atmosphere filled the room as the argument unfolded in front of us. As this was my first time meeting her, I couldn't really intervene. The uneasy atmosphere lingered, but eventually we managed to tell her our intention to get married. As we were leaving, Monica, still appearing disgruntled, called out to Mason.
"Hey, son, you're going to keep that promise after you get married, right?"
"What promise?"
You know, the monthly money.
"Ah, that. Yes, I'll keep that promise. But let's not discuss it here."
What's the problem? I just asked.
The tension between Mason and his mother was palpable, and the mood was somber. On our way home, I asked him about what was on my mind. "Hey, Mason, about what you and your mom were talking about when we were leaving." "Yeah, I have to tell you something, Ashley. I heard something about the monthly money. After my dad passed away, I've been sending her money every month." "How much?" $1,500. $1,500? I inadvertently raised my voice at the sheer amount. And with that, he sighed deeply and began to speak slowly. "The truth is, my mom, she's in debt." "Debt?" "She got into it with gambling a while ago. Now she's trying to live while paying it back. She doesn't get around too well anymore, so she seems to spend most of her time at home these days. But she still needs living expenses, you know." "Yeah, but $1,500 is a lot. If I give her less, she'll just keep calling over and over again. And no matter what, she's still my mom. Considering she's living alone, I'm worried about her. I see. He really cares about his mother. But that makes sense. After his father passed away, she's the only one left. No matter her character, she's still his precious mother. At that time, all I thought was how kind he was. 2 months after our marriage, on a certain day while I was on lunch break, my phone rang. It was a call from Monica. "Hello?" I replied, and she began to speak cheerfully.
It's been a while, Ashley. I have something I'd like to talk about. Is that all right?
"Yes. What is it?"
Actually, I would like you to send me money too.
Excuse me? Stunned by the unexpected request, I was at a loss for words. But she continued, sounding pleased.
Remember the conversation we had the other day? You work at a financial company, right? So you must be making good money.
No, not really.
Are you planning to lie to me because you don't want to give me money?
No, that's not it.
Then why?
Well, because you're already getting money from Mason, right? At my question, she brusquely replied, "Yeah, so what?" I stated firmly to her, who seemed to lack gratitude. "Monica, not every mother can receive $1,500 every month from their son. And yet, you want even more money."
Oh, really? That's what you have to tell me? If you send me another $700, Mason wouldn't have to be bothered.
What? What do you mean?
You see, I made Mason the co-signer of my debt. In other words, if I fail to make payments, he will be the one pressed for the money.
But isn't some of his $15 going towards repaying the debt?
It's not enough. I haven't told him, but the debt is quite sizable.
From her tone, I realized this was something he didn't know. In the future, when we have kids, our expenses will increase. On top of that, shouldering my mother-in-law's debt is not an easy matter. But if she defaults on her payments and the debt falls on Mason, the interest would likely have ballooned by then. If I refused to send her money, ultimately it would become a burden on him. I thought it best to get her to repay her debt now. With that in mind, I sighed and told her, "All right, I will send money too."
Really? I knew you'd say that, Ashley.
Including Mason's, it'll be $2,200. You can really pay off your debt with this, right?
Sure, of course. I should be able to pay off in about a year.
This is a promise, okay? Please make sure to pay it off without any delinquency.
I know. Okay then, starting from this month.
With that, she abruptly hung up the phone. The added worry to my body exhausted from overwork makes me feel even more depressed. $700 a month. That's a hard hit. But it's also to ensure that we won't be burdened in the future. Most importantly, if she can't live adequately, Mason would not like it. That night, I immediately told my husband about it. He said I didn't have to go that far, but I told him I had already agreed with her and made a decision for our future, so it wouldn't be a burden to us. He showed understanding while looking apologetic, saying, "I'm sorry and thank you." 2 years have passed since that time. The remittance I thought would end in a year is still continuing, And we're still transferring $2,200 to her every month. What's worse, Mason fell ill about 2 months ago and is unable to go to work. Although he is on sick leave and receiving sick pay, it's a drop in the bucket compared to his previous salary. Last month, I transferred $2,200 to her from my savings for the time being. But if this continues, it'll be quite tough. Moreover, unbelievably, she has not visited her son even once. Even though we have told her that he was hospitalized, she just contacts me asking, "You're still sending money, right?" I was so furious that I decided to talk to Mason about it. "Hey, honey, your mother doesn't care about your situation at all. She only thinks about money. I think we should seriously consider what to do in the future." "Yeah, I've been thinking the same thing. I don't want to burden you any further. I've received several calls and messages this month asking, is the remittance still not done?" Seriously? Even though her own son is sick, she only thinks about money. Is there anything on her mind other than money? He expressed his anger towards his mother with a somewhat haggard expression. Then, with a look as if he had thought of something and a daring smile, he said, "That's it." "What is it?" "Well, this is a last resort, but I've thought of something good." "Something good?" "Yeah, so we can..." "What?" The plan that he came up with was something I could not have imagined. It may be inappropriate, but it might be necessary to get through to her. A few weeks later, Mason was successfully discharged from the hospital. No matter how many times I contacted Monica, I got no response from her, so I haven't told her about his discharge. I've been receiving constant reminders about the remittance from her these past 2 weeks. There's no point in sending money to a mother who doesn't even care about her son. As I was having coffee with Mason, a message came to my smartphone. When I looked closely, there were 13 missed calls, all from Monica. Not again. As I thought this, my phone vibrated again. It was another call from her. "Hello?" I turned on the speaker so Mason could also hear, and she suddenly started yelling.
"Hey, where's my $2,200?
"Excuse me?"
I'm talking about the remittance. The money for this month hasn't been transferred yet."
"Monica, do you understand that Mason is currently..."
"I don't care if he's in the hospital or what. It doesn't concern me. You're working at a good company, so you must have plenty of savings. Hurry up and transfer it to me."
She was raging in anger and finally made a statement that made me doubt my ears.
"Listen, you married and became Mason's wife, so if he can't pay, you have to pay me. If you refuse, I will make you a co-signer of my debt."
At that moment, something snapped inside me. Without considering our situation at all, she was simply revealing her own greed. I had reached my limit with her. Even in this situation, she doesn't feel bad about her actions? In that case, I have no choice but to use the last resort. I said firmly into my smartphone, "Your son has passed away, so we can no longer send you money." At those words, she let out a stunned, "Huh?" Yes, this was exactly the final measure Mason had suggested. Lying to her that her son had died and watching her reaction. If she even slightly showed sorrow and reflected on her past actions, apologized, we would continue sending money. If she did not show any remorse and still demanded money, we would completely cut ties. That was the plan. I was thinking in my heart, even my money-grubbing mother-in-law would feel bad about her past behavior if she heard that her son had died. However, the next moment, she started laughing loudly. What's so funny?
Well, everything! If Mason's dead, that means his inheritance will be distributed to me too. I've been researching this since I heard he got sick. Listen, 2/3 of Mason's property is yours, but 1/3 is mine.
I was at a loss for words. I could not believe that the first thing she researched when she heard her son was sick was not the treatment method, but about inheritance distribution. I was not just angry, I was astounded. Mason felt the same way. He met my eyes and slowly nodded. This was a sign to continue with the plan as is. I said to her again in a strong voice, "Monica, did you hear what I said? Mason has passed away."
Yeah, I did. What about it?
Aren't you sad? Your son passed away before you.
Well, I was worried that the money would stop coming, but if I'm getting the inheritance, then I guess it's fine.
What the?
Anyway, make sure you send me my 1/3, okay? I won't let you run off with all of it.
The call was abruptly cut off and a dial tone echoed. When I looked at Mason, he was red and trembling. Are you okay, honey? When I asked, he looked into my eyes and said, I'm cutting ties with her. She'll probably come here asking for money eventually. Let's wait until then. Okay, but are you really okay with this? Cutting ties like this? Yeah, I have absolutely no regrets after that call. She's not my mother. His eyes were filled with hatred. I felt the same way. A human being who values money more than her son's life? She's not family to me. A few days later, as we predicted, Monica barged into our house. For the time being, I asked Mason to hide in the next room and decided to handle her myself. There, my mother-in-law approached me with a demon-like expression.
You! Hurry up and give me Mason's inheritance!
That again? Don't you have anything else to say?
He's already dead. There's no point in saying anything else, is there?
You didn't even come to visit him, and now you're saying this? Do you really call yourself a mother?
You're annoying. Hurry up and give me the money. I can get a lawyer to handle this, you know.
There's no point in talking any further. Just as I thought that, Mason appeared from the next room. Seeing him, she shrieked as if she'd seen a ghost.
Mason? Why? You're supposed to be dead.
Long time no see, Mom. I'm sorry, but we lied about me dying.
What? You lied? What kind of sick joke is that?
It was to check your true character, Mom. I wanted to see what you'd do about the money transfers if your son died. But, as I expected, you're nothing more than trash who only has eyes for money. That's very clear to me now.
What? How dare you call me trash?
Shut up! I'm cutting ties with a toxic mother like you! At Mason's roar, she stood there with her mouth agape. She couldn't comprehend the situation of her own son declaring to cut ties with her.
What does this mean, Mason?
It's just like I said. I can't consider someone like you as my mother.
Then what about the money?
The hell we would give you. You deal with the debt on your own. We've decided to move.
Hold on a sec. If you do that, though, I won't be able to live.
Tears in her eyes, she reached out her hand to Mason. He forcefully shook it off, and with a cold gaze, he declared, I don't give a shit about your life. After all the help we've given you, you can't even apologize once. I'm glad I found out your true nature. Don't ever show up in front of us again.
Wait! Are you abandoning me, Mason?
Ignoring her words, Mason grabbed her arm, dragged her to the entrance, and threw her out of the house along with her shoes and bag. She made a racket outside for a while, but she seemed to disappear after a bit, unable to bear the looks from the neighbors. We received several calls from her, but ignored them all. We blocked her number and moved. As for the co-signing issue on her debt, since she had listed Mason as the co-signer without his consent, the contract was invalid, and he bore no responsibility. Since then, apparently, Monica has been leading a miserable life without any financial help from us. She deserved it because instead of using our money to repay her debts, she mostly spent it on gambling. She still has a mountain of debt and is being hounded by debt collectors every day. She can no longer gamble, her favorite pastime, and seems to be working from dawn till dusk. It doesn't seem like she'll be able to pay off her debts anytime soon. She'll likely have to work until she's unable to move. All this is her just desserts. On the other hand, we've been living fulfilling days in our new home. Mason's condition has stabilized and he's returned to work after some time. We're excited to welcome a new family member soon, too. We can't wait to meet her next year. From now on, we want to spend our days happily as a family of 3.